And we are back. We're talking about the best of 2020. Usually this list building is a hell of a lot easier, but due to COVID, obviously there was
there's been a lot of monkey wrenches this year with a lot of it. So, we were asking ourselves, did that really happen this year? Yeah.
Right.
These matches actually happened this year.
It's like, oh my God, there were like sellout buildings up until like March.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that was this year? That doesn't make any sense because there were actually like people in the crowds.
Right.
So, we're not going to start with the best match. We're going to start with the most underrated superstar of the year.
Yeah.
Just because that's a weird one. I think both of us came to the consensus that Sami Zayn was the most underrated wrestler this year.
Absolutely. He had that sleeper 5-star match with that super 5-star ladder match.
Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Champion.
Right.
We did this based on not only his heel promos and his his whole like thing, but just his tactics. He's playing such a great chicken shit heel.
Right.
It just makes him so much better because you know how good he is. And it's like he can really just turn on both switches, and we're really seeing that versatile thing that we did not see before, even despite him not competing during the height of the pandemic.
Right.
So...
And the reason that we say he's underrated is because he really needs to be talked about in the main event scene.
Right.
He always should have been. And I feel like there were a lot of opportunities for him to go after, not necessarily the Universal, but maybe even the WWE Champion as well, because we've had that crossover too this year with remember when Drew McIntyre faced Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that they should, I think that it would have been better for Sammy to be in that conversation.
Absolutely. So we're going to continue on. We're going to talk about the best announcer of the year.
Yes.
So we could not pick one or the other on this, but we're going to say the Ring of Honor broadcast team, which is Ian Riccaboni, I think, Riccaboni,
yes.
Bobby Cruz, and Caprice Coleman.
Yes.
Oh my God. We only saw like one show of Ring of Honor not one. I saw a couple of them early this year, but once again, it's like a fucking blur. We were about to go to a goddamn show, and I think like 2 days before everything was shut down. They were so excited. You could tell the passion. They really directed. You could close your eyes and knew exactly what was happening. They made it feel like a regular Ring of Honor show, except for, without the crowd. It made it feel special, and that's why we chose Ring of Honor's announcers as the best announcers.
All three of them.
Nobody else could touch them. Not a single person. Bobby Cruz, his voice is so amazing as the ring announcer. It's like, that is Ring of Honor right there. You can just hear it. As soon as you hear it, you know exactly who it is. You know it's wrestling. And obviously, Caprice Coleman and Riccaboni just have a great
chemistry.
Great back and forth. There's like a fun little sprinkle of the heel dynamic in there for Caprice.
But it's not too bad.
It's not hitting you over the head like our worst contender, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yes.
But yes, I thought that was the right choice. They deserved it. We're going to go to the best promotional tactic this year. And we're going to directly talk about the AEW partnership with Impact Wrestling and the NWA.
Yes.
With the height of the pandemic.
Well, it wasn't even the height of the pandemic. This has happened afterwards. NWA, they weren't running shows at the time, and NWA brought in a couple of their women. They even had some women's title matches.
Impact Wrestling with obviously Kenny Omega being on both, getting them great numbers.
That one is very recent. But Impact Wrestling is taking full advantage of it. They're bringing back Bullet Club for their main event for the pay-per-view next month. I mean, that's how beneficial it is, not only for Impact, but also...
But there is another person that I did not even put in here, and that was MLW, because there have been MLW stars in AEW.
Yes,
what I love about this is that AEW has, because of how they're structured their business, this is giving a lot of these guys a great opportunity to work. Right. And especially during the pandemic and wrestlers being out of work, it was a hard-hit business. It really was. And they can't go to WWE. WWE won't allow that. AEW's like, come on in. Let's have a match with Brian Pillman Jr. Let's have, maybe Chris Bay or Rich Swann in the future. Right. Let's have Serena Deeb and
then AEW's like, hey, we wanna promote you on another brand. So we're gonna put you in the storyline, Kenny Omega. We're gonna put heel Kenny Omega.
Right.
Put him in a partnership in that partnership situation.
Let's put Don Callis on AEW television on announcing, and he did a great job. Yeah. I'm usually not the biggest fan of Don Callis's announcing personally, but I thought he did pretty okay with AEW. Huge opportunity. It's going to do nothing but good for everybody involved.
It's going to be beneficial for all involved. And WWE said, we're willing to work with people, but time has proven that
it's not going to happen.
Willing to work with people. Right. As long as Vince McMahon is at the helm, you guys are never going to work with another wrestling company ever.
Exactly. The best booker of the year obviously has to be Tony Khan.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It has to be. I mean, that person has been very consistent with everything.
And what everybody else says, I'm sorry, the numbers do not lie. No. If AEW was as bad as a lot of people think, it's like, it's killing the business. Is it really killing the fucking business? Right. Honestly, it's probably helping the business more than it's hurting it. Right. I'm sorry. And this is one of these things where I'm going to argue Tony Khan, and with his incorporation of Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody. Yeah. They understand what is the driving product for wrestling. Right. They're like, oh my God, it's going to lead to so many more injuries. How many injuries have we actually seen from AEW? We haven't seen a whole lot of them. No. Well, people are going to do this. It's like they said the same thing about hardcore wrestling. I'm sorry, the older generation of fans, superstars, and the like are always going to rag on the newest generation. Right. In 10 years, people are going to say, that AEW, it was so ragtag. They were flying around everywhere. Right. That's just wrestling.
Right. They're saying it now, but it's better than watching a bunch of chokeholds or whatever from wrestlers in the middle of the... It's like, who cares? Who wants to see this?
Here's a grudge match, but let's do wrestling. No. I would rather see 40 million flips and kicks and stuff. If they're athletic enough to do it, I want to see that.
Well, right.
Oh, but it's basically Pilates. Right. Yeah,
well, but even teams like FTR, who are normally well known for their rough and tumble style, pound to the ground style, they are thriving in AEW right now.
Right.
Because of
the difference.
Yeah, because they're being paired with people who are so different.
Right.
So it kind of balances out and you get a great match.
Right. And we'll probably do another thing about that whole, the older generation ragging. They said the same thing about hardcore. It's just people hitting each other over the head with chair shots. It's all about sponsorships in 2010. It's only about this. It's always going to happen. Right. I'm sorry. If you cannot get in line, then you get the fuck out and never watch wrestling again. I'm sorry. The days of the 70s are done. Right. It's not going to happen anymore. But yeah, they drew so much business. That's fine. That's just wrestling. Right. That kind of stuff now, is it doing well? If you're going to bitch about it, why don't you put where the money where your mouth is and go and book that and see how successful it is. Right. If it's successful, great. It's just another place for people to work. Right. But if it's not, I'm sorry. That's just it.
Are you getting on your tangent?
I'm on a tangent roll today.
You are on a tangent roll.
So the best promotion of the year, it has to be AEW.
Yes.
For not only the matches that they produced, given the circumstances, how they've handled the COVID-19 restrictions, how they are bringing in fans because of how well they're doing, and just everything that they're doing with the competitors getting hurt and sick and all of this. They're taking care of their people. They're producing great content every week. I'm trying to find any other company that's better at this time. Right. Give me one company that has done it better.
Nope.
Nothing. Now, obviously,
New Japan, but
obviously, the COVID-19 restrictions has hindered New Japan as well because they weren't running shows. Right. But I'm sorry, it has to be consistent work. Right. Even given the circumstances. I even think without AEW still would have been the best promotion of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, the best major event of the year. We would do regular show, but given circumstances, we don't have that time. Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
There was no question about it, no quorums about it. The ending of Liger, double gold. The amazing matches and moments that we saw with Wrestle Kingdom. I'm sorry, that's it.
Right.
I mean, do I really need to say more about how great Wrestle Kingdom was?
No.
The best comeback of the year. This one might ruffle some feathers. Roman Reigns had the best comeback of the year.
Oh, yeah.
You can't argue with it. Right. He feels like such an evolved, amazing...
He left. Even though he's only gone for a few months, he came back and he wasn't the same. Even back in March, we didn't want to see a Roman Reigns match. Then he comes back, and now everyone wants to see Roman Reigns.
I want to see Roman Reigns on my television. I cannot wait until a Roman Reigns match happens.
Right.
They're great. He has great attitude. He feels like a heel.
Right.
How can you hate this guy? I mean, there are people who can hate this guy, and they're like, "Oh my god, I want the Roman Reigns of old." No, fuck that shit.
No, this is cool Roman Reigns.
This is the Roman Reigns we've wanted for the past 5 years.
Right.
And if you're still bitching about Roman Reigns, I'm sorry. He's producing the best stuff.
Right.
Promo work with Heyman. I don't think at this point Roman Reigns needs Heyman.
Oh, no, yeah, he does.
You think so?
Yep, he does.
All right. His stuff with Jey Uso. He put Jey Uso on such a great pedestal.
Yeah, he brought Jey Uso to the main event scene.
Right. His matches recently with Kevin Owens, even the one on SmackDown. Awesome.
Yeah.
It was so freaking good. He's just he is the best heel in wrestling. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
People are like, oh, Kenny Omega. Yeah, but his style hasn't changed. Roman Reigns has done so much to
It's
evolve.
a comeback. Kenny Omega didn't have a comeback.
Nah.
This is the comeback.
Anyway, best rookie of the year. There cannot be any debate. It has to be Chris Bay.
It does.
He's like 21.
Right.
We saw him. We actually were at his debut in Impact Wrestling,
and he has made a splash. I mean, he has appeared. He's appeared in New Japan.
Right.
He's doing great in Impact. He already has a championship under his belt.
He has a championship. He went for the world title. Yep. It was a great match.
Yep.
He's just going to get better and better. Everyone is saying that Chris Bay is the person to watch out for 2021.
Yep.
And I cannot wait for us to go back to Sam's Town, to Impact Wrestling, and watch this guy work.
Right.
I just can't wait. Right. And it's great because the wrestling school here is going to be doing some shows, I'm hoping soon, which is where Chris Bay is from. So I cannot wait to see maybe even a future star again in Sam's Town. Yeah. So anyway, the most improved of the year, once again, it has to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns.
And
again, I've talked about this before. He was the one person in March, and then he came back, and he totally different person.
Right. And it's just such a great evolution.
It's a great evolution. I love it.
He just looks badass. I'm sorry. He looks like the badass killer that we knew.
Right.
Anyway, I don't think we really need to do that because we just explained how great Roman Reigns is this year.
Right.
The most popular wrestler of the year, Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
I say that because his pop when he won in the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
The build up to it where he was doing the 3-2-1, the entire place, and I even heard like live. It was like deafening. This guy was so even still to this day he is so popular.
Right.
They took the belt off of McIntyre and put it on Randy. There was such a backlash of that they put it back on him. I'm sorry, when you do that, you're doing something good.
Right.
And really, who else? I mean, other than maybe Kenny Omega, can you say? But Drew McIntyre, I think, had more of an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Just because of the company that he worked for, the position that he was in, and the circumstances given.
Right.
I think he took the ball and ran with it.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think he's doing a great job.
He's doing a fantastic job.
So, the best feud of the year, multiple years in the making, tag team feud, which is something that's very hard to put over, FTR Young Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended up as an amazing, I would even say, it was one of the matches that we thought would for best of the year, but it was just skimmed out But yes, FTR and Young Bucks, just a great...
I mean, we explained it before, where FTR and the Young Bucks, two totally clashing styles.
Where they complement each other.
They complemented each other so well with it. FTR did some high-flying stuff. Young Bucks did some hard-hitting stuff.
Right.
I mean, you know...
They really put each other at a totally different level.
They're in a league all their own.
Right. So I'm just so excited to see what the tag division looks like in the future.
Right.
I will say right now, of what I've seen with AEW's tag team division, the future looks bright. I'm really excited about it.
All right, tag team of the year.
Young
Bucks.
It has to be the Young Bucks.
They're in a league all their own.
Right.
There is nobody that is better than the Young Bucks.
Right. There's stuff with the Lucha Brothers. Yep. There's stuff in AAA as well, and it's just everything that they've done.
And every match they've done, every feud they've had have pulled off like the best of the best.
Right. Absolutely. Now we're going to be getting into the three big ones. The best female wrestler of the year, Asuka. Okay. There should be no question about this. She took
super over, very popular from start to finish.
Her heel work is amazing. Her dances are just legendary
and she's held the Raw Women's Champion for the better part of a year.
Right.
And now she has the tag team champions too.
Right. I'm sorry, you can't. The most consistently great worker.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I would have probably put over like Becky Lynch or something, but
Becky Lynch has been out since March, and She kind of lost her luster after her WrestleMania win, in my view.
Right, because they just booked her horribly.
Right,
and it sucks.
Just booked it horribly.
Right. Obviously, they screwed it up with Shayna Baszler royally. Yeah. I would have even chosen her over Asuka if they booked her correctly as a killer. And then Charlotte Flair was out for the majority of the time, but Charlotte Flair is doing great right now. Yeah. So, Asuka took a very damaged division with the loss of Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. And made it really something great.
Yeah, it is.
With everybody's pulling their own weight. Everyone really stepped up their game with the loss of Charlotte and Becky.
Yeah.
But Asuka was the most certain leader. It was really hard between Asuka and Bayley. I would have even put Bayley on there. But Asuka.
But see, the problem is that Bayley wasn't. She was good at first. She held the division consistently. But in my view, she's kind of fallen off the radar.
Right.
Where she lost.
Asuka's just been better.
Asuka's just been there the whole time.
Absolutely. At 100%.
Yeah. Anyways, male wrestler of the year, the best male wrestler, Kenny Omega.
It has to be Kenny Omega. He went from one of the most popular baby faces to one of the most popular heels.
Right.
Very subtly.
He was also very consistent in both tag team and singles action. Yep. Remember, he started the year as a tag team champion.
Right, with Adam Page, and then they had a great match for the number one contender, one of the best matches of the year.
Yep.
And then obviously his win, beating the undefeated Jon Moxley in a great match with some help, looking like an awesome heel. He went to Mexico, had a great match with Laredo Kid at Triple Mania, and now he's going to be in Impact Wrestling at Hard to Kill in a 6-man tag with them. I'm sorry, most consistently best booked person, pulling off great stuff despite the given circumstances. Kenny Omega is the top male wrestler of this year.
Absolutely.
And finally, match of the year. There were great contenders given the circumstances. But this one, based on the show, based on what was on the line, and just the ending was amazing. Yeah. Tetsuya Naito versus Kazuchika Okada for double gold at Wrestle Kingdom. Both championships on the line. Tetsuya Naito won, which was something that he needed. He should have won the championship 2 years ago at that Wrestle Kingdom, and they fucked him over. Right. So this was your I am sorry package for him being double gold. With the whole thing with the Evil, I think they really wanted to get him over, and I think he is now. But Naito now is double champion again. He's going into Wrestle Kingdom, defending it at least once, maybe even twice if Kota Ibushi drops the ball again. Right. It was also an incredible match for a show that was technically for like 8 hours over 2 days. Yeah. They kept everybody's attention. It was a feel-good moment, and that's why we gave it Match of the Year.
So let us know if you agree, disagree, whatever with us. That's all we have. Next week, we are going to do the worst of the year.
Now, if you thought I was going on rants before, trust me, you ain't going to hear anything.
And we're going to do that. And, we're going to do our usual. First episode 2021.
Yeah.
And
follow us on social media. I put it all in one little thing, so it's a flow page account. So go ahead and check it, and follow everything. Become a patron on there as well, and share it with your friends. And as always, for the final time in 2020, be
majestic.